yeah, you know, we got to help them. We got to figure out something.
So what'd you do?
Send them to California.
Oh,
I'm going to get made fun of for this, but I saw this meme about when men pick their brand of like electrical tools. You should make like a Lego
tank out of it.
Yeah.
I should put a Lego turd on top. So what is your audience then on Mr. Soares?
I think it's mostly men.
Like, do you watch Lego YouTube? They're like, not really, but do you recommend anyone? It's always Emily.
Caleb's probably, his content kind of inspires me a lot more. Us as old school Lego Star Wars farts are like, oh, why are you wasting a set on a mech? We don't want a mech.
I bought 50 of them.
If you go, yeah.
I've done nothing to it. I'm just sitting there.
I'm glad you stopped at 50. I remember you being like, I want 100. I was like, how about you not? All right, now that the square's out of here.
Oh, I thought you were the square.
I'm more of a rectangle.
I don't know if y'all should take that as a compliment or this. I don't know which way you're going.
You never did that like in elementary school? So what you do is you measure the length from tip to tip of your fingertips and then from your toe. And if they're the same length, then you're a square. And if they're not, then you're a rectangle.
Okay.
I am a proud rectangle.
Good for you. Yeah. I love your home.
And I'm fond of you too.
We just went two different directions in that. But
well, thank you so much. It's a 1989 build, I think. So late 80s. So it's actually a little bit older than me. But I'm very grateful to be living in a house like this. It's big. Yeah.
It's big.
It's Texas. We do things pretty big here.
Okay, I've been to 5 different homes now.
In
since
Texas?
I've been here. Yes.
Gotcha.
3 of them are actually houses.
Uh-huh.
You know, Jean's and Josh's. I don't know when this one's going to come out. So anyone's really paying attention, it could be backwards.
Hi, everyone from the past.
But all 3 of your homes are different.
Yeah.
Like they're not similar whatsoever. I get, you know, like one's cookie cutter and the other one's older cookie cutter.
Yeah.
This doesn't look cookie, but I'm here at night, so I don't know.
It's older cookie cutter. Yeah, it's like kind of funny.
It doesn't look like a development area. It
probably was. I would have to say it was at one point. Yeah.
I'm just saying that because it looks like there's character from the door.
You know what it is?
Is it the trees?
It's the trees.
The trees are beautiful.
It's totally the trees.
It doesn't feel like Texas.
I think that's what I've seen. Like when I go to other people who like live in a newer development, I'm like, why does their stuff seem so fake? And I realize because they got little baby trees. They got little baby saplings. You know, they got the little ropes tied down to them because they're too weak to stand on their own.
Trees take work to maintain.
Yeah. And around here, and it might be other parts too, but a lot of people consider trees like the most valuable assets of their home.
Well, do you have laws for that here for trees? We do.
In Texas, no, but certain cities do.
Okay.
Thankfully, the city, like whatever we're at, it's pretty relaxed. But even then, I mean, who really wants to cut down a tree?
I mean, if it's in the way of your pool.
Yeah, I guess so.
If it's in the way of your about pool to fall down.
Yeah. But then usually you get a pretty easy permit if that's the case.
If it roots up your piping.
Yeah, that's a bad one. So I'll tell you, the real bad problems here in Texas is when it gets cold. And
it's cold.
Yeah. So right now it's like 35 degrees outside, which is I'm a little upset about. Most Texans are upset about it because, you know, the deal, you know, when you move to Texas, you have to go talk to Satan and be like, you have to sign over your rights to a mild summer immediately. And let's just give it a little context. Yes.
How hot does it get here?
This past summer, 112, I think is.
And it stays hot.
We had, I think, almost like 90 days of 100-degree weather or something like that.
Even at night?
No, at night. I mean, it's still warm.
But it drops like what, 100?
It's like to like 95 or something.
That's
if we're lucky, yeah. No, it always gets at least below 100 every night.
That sucks.
But yeah, it's terrible. It's very swampy. Yeah, so we pay for it, and so like I feel bad too. We'll have friends. We had Sans and Claire come visit us once in like July.
Gross.
And they were like, I don't know, maybe we'd like to move here.
Well, I mean,
and then I was like, I already know how this is going to go because it's the worst. I mean, you can't even walk from your car in a parking lot to the store, and then you're just already swampy. You got to throw some baby powder down your pants. It's just what we do here. But the deal is, like I said, when you're shaking the hands with the Beelzebub, you're supposed to be able to trade that hot summer for a mild winter. And I think what we're a little upset about is these last few years have been getting these really, really cold winters. Now they're not long. you know, they're usually a week or two, but no, we didn't sign up for that. When it gets cold in Texas, it's national news. Because we're not equipped for it. I don't know how to. People make fun of me. They're like, "You guys don't know how to drive in the snow," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't."
Okay, so what happened? What, 2 years ago now?
Yeah. So
what happened here?
It was February, I think, of 2021, snowpocalypse. My man, it was the craziest thing. You ever see that movie Avengers Endgame? No, Avengers Infinity War. Remember at the end when Thanos snaps his fingers and half the population disappears, right?
Yeah.
So essentially the same thing happened. It seemed like somebody snapped their fingers and half the population of Texas lost power. And that's because the ERCOT is the name of the group who manages the electricity grid of Texas, because Texas, except for like El Paso for some reason, is on its own electrical grid. And it doesn't, like, since it's within Texas, it doesn't have to like follow the same rules as an intrastate.
Is that beneficial for you as a...
Supposedly it's cheaper.
Okay.
You know, and that's how we do things in Texas, is like, well, we'll do it cheaper. So it is beneficial, maybe in some way. But the thing is, they didn't have to abide by normal rules that you know, states up north do with winterizing things. Yeah. So they didn't winterize. Some plants froze over, couldn't operate. And
plants. Not
like sorry. A lot of plants. Vegetation died too, but plants like coal power plants out in West Texas totally died.
So how long until you got power back?
We were very lucky. We lost power the first day of the freeze.
How's that lucky?
They fixed it first.
Ah.
I think we were only without power for like 9 hours.
Okay.
Luckily our power came on, but what was unfortunate was my cousin, who lives a little bit more central Austin, had lost power.
And that was gone for how long?
His ended up being gone for about 5 days. Yeah, it was really bad. I think it came on, it flickered on, I think, on the 4th day for a few hours, and then it went off again. So we called them, invited them to stay with us. It was really sad. It almost felt like they were like refugees.
It kind of puts things in perspective, right? The things that you truly need in life, and like, we need power.
Yeah,
like, I mean, what do you do when there's no power?
It's awful. And the big issue too was we were talking about trees. Trees were falling over. Branches were freezing over and falling down, breaking fences, busting through windows, cars. You know, it was awful damage. I think I had actually seen a stat that said that of all the natural disasters in U.S. history, this one was the most costliest in insurance claims because of pipes bursting. It's just, you don't see it like that because it's not as sexy as a hurricane or a tornado, right? But
no, but I mean, it was very odd that it happened. And at first it's like, oh, cool, it's snowing. Yay. No, we have no power.
Yeah, it was, it was, and it wasn't even really snow. It was just ice. Some parts, I think North Texas got snow. I think we had snow, but then it melted and then froze.
So it's like the snow you can't jump on.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. It's just painful.
It's just nothing. There was nothing good about it. It was 0%. And then I'm over here like, and let me guess, it's going to be 112 in the summer again, isn't it?
It was.
Yeah. So
did the city all like shut down?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, was anything open?
No. I mean, only essentials. Everybody.
How did those people get to work and back?
The essential workers.
Yeah, right. You got to think about it. Right?
To figure it out. Like, I guess.
Like, how do you get to work? Like, just kind of think about like the first responders. And
I mean, and that's always the case, right? If you are a first responder, you generally have a plan, or you'll figure it out. You know, hopefully no one else is on the road besides first responders. Anyways.
I mean, usually that's the case, right? I mean, well, not really, but natural disasters.
Yeah.
I would say if there's a riot, then you're kind of...
Oh, that's all.
That's a totally different story. That's a totally different story.
But yeah, so it was a pretty surreal experience. Very fortunate, you know. There had been people who had died even in Austin. A
lot of homeless people.
Homeless people had froze over. That was back at the time we had homeless camps, but there was also people who...
I haven't seen... I saw one. It was bundled up.
The state kind of went through and got rid of them.
All of them? Is that California?
Yeah, I think they sent them to California.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I had to pay for it now. It's okay.
That was an interesting time too. I think, we're getting political here, but man, the homeless thing, that is probably one of the toughest issues.
It's hard to solve. I mean, okay, so during the pandemic, we had a couple of homeless encampments in the area because of very lockdown. They can't really do anything to them. We had some problems, a couple times when we had because we get permits for birthday parties for my kids, And, you know, there was this one park where there was just a homeless cabin in the area where we permitted out. It was to call Parks and Recs, like, can we have homeless people here? And they're like, oh, you have to call the police. Like, okay. So we call the cops. But it wasn't the fact that they got them to move, it's what they left behind. So now I have all this crap on the floor, not like feces, I'm talking like just a bunch of stuff. Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of stains on the floor. So it could be, you know, bodily fluids of any kind. You know, just, and they took their stuff, but it was still a mess. And I'm like, this is unsanitary. Yeah. I'm not going to have my children playing in this grass. So I lit them up. So regardless of the fact, we don't have that problem anymore because we implemented a lot of laws where they can't encamp near schools within a certain distance, churches.
So there's like zonal.
Parks. Yeah, it's very zonal. And fortunately for us, where we live, we are fortunate to live near like next to schools, next to parks. So there are no homeless by us. They're always like pushed out. And I don't know where they go. So your homeless that went to my areas are now in one area.
I don't know. It's such again, right? It's such a weird scenario. I'll say from the point of view of being in Texas, and at the time when that started, I lived in like central Austin, and that's like downtown Austin. Yeah. Mostly they were kind of bundled under like highway overpasses, but there was some big camps happening. There's a really like big, it was almost like a famous one a little bit south. On YouTube. That one was huge. But in Texas, what happened is the mayor, I think he had good intentions. His intentions were very much like, nobody wants to solve this homeless problem or help me solve this homeless problem. So I'm just going to let them camp. I think his intention was that it would irk people enough to try to solve the issue. Instead of just kick them out? Instead of just kicking them out. Well, I think obviously it kind of led into some kind of complicated issues. Anecdotally, I had one friend get punched in the face. She got a broken nose. Oh my God. One time, Emily and I think we were like leaving a Costco or something, and somebody threw like metal out of my car. And that's kind of stuff that happens in San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and for Texans, we don't put up with that. We're like, no, we don't. And so I didn't even call the police, actually. I think I called the city about it because I was like, I'm not trying to make a big deal. But I was like, look, there's, at this intersection, there's people throwing metal like rods at cars. And that's a police issue. And yeah. And they're like, immediately patched me to the police. I think even before I got on the highway, I could already hear the sirens. And I was like, wow, man, you guys come quick for that. Well, I mean, throwing rods at cars can do some serious damage. Yeah. And so, and I think it's just stuff like that kept building up. I do think there was a little bit of like, I bring that up because I think on the law enforcement side, I think they really did try to I wouldn't say ham it up, but they tried to highlight it more. They were like, they were doing more to try to show how bad this whole experiment went. And they succeeded because the governor got involved. That mayor got voted out. And then just one day, day by day, they were just sending in police to tear apart the camps. Yeah, it was a really complicated issue. A lot of people had changed their opinions on things. I think people started off agreeing with the mayor, being very altruistic. And, being like, we got to help them. We got to figure out something to the end of it. Like, so what'd you do? Send them to California. Oh, you. So we got to deal with it. Yeah. Well, you guys have nice weather. So we do have, we know we don't have 31-degree weather. We don't have in the summer, 112-degree weather. Yeah. We get the benefit. I mean, a lot of people like to hit California with a lot of other BS, but for the most part, yes, it is expensive, but there are affordable places to live. Yes, there are high taxes, and yes, we don't see the results out of those high taxes. Yeah, but you can't beat our weather. Yeah, that's it. You really can't. I don't. It's almost eerie. There, even in like Miami too. It's just like every day is the same. So. Now we kind of diverted in a hardcore left, man. I was just gonna say, like, how are you? How are things? What is going on with you? No, things have been pretty great. Last time we talked on a podcast form, I had recently left my full-time job to help Emily with hers. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had that joke of like, Emily is living my dream job. Dream job. Aren't you living that dream job now? I am, yeah. But Emily is very much the go-getter. Go do this, do this. I do more of the
behind
the
scenes.
scenes. So like I handle all the financing,
Travel arrangements.
Yeah, we do a lot of travel, which is great. I mean, that was a big reason for me leaving too, is to be able to travel with her more. You know, I had to deal with insurances and tax guys and all that fun stuff. Pretty much.
You still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like run the business.
I mean, it sounds like she has a full-time schedule with things going on in her life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she's putting out content. You know, we get together and kind of brainstorm content together too. I help her if she needs something built, I'll build it. And then on the side, I try to work on my projects, which is I kind of have my 3 toes in different.
You have 2 other channels. Where are they?
Well, I got 2 channels, but I also have a third thing. And
okay. What is it?
So I still have I have my own firm. So similar for what I did at my old job. And I do get work every now and then through that. So that does eat up a lot of time on my end, which is nice. It's rewarding.
Yeah. It's what you did before. So you're comfortable with the whole idea.
Exactly. It's a lot of computer programming and I like it. And I kind of, in some ways I miss it. Don't necessarily miss the 9 to 5, but at the same time, I crave the structure of it.
Okay.
And I think, you know, sometimes I might struggle a little bit with structuring things off. The other big thing I've been into is working out. I had some health issues, which also was a reason I had left my job. We had talked about that on that last podcast episode. And any other podcast you'll ever listen to ever is always going to tell you working out will be pretty much the key to a long, healthy life.
Yes. Yes. Even a simple walk a day.
Yeah.
A mile walk a day does so much more to your life in the longevity.
Oh, man, I do so many walks a day. I have a Labrador retriever.
And I wish I can see what you're doing. Like, you know, just jump on the Apple Watch like you're.
Oh, are we getting into that?
Well, I'm just saying we can see it.
Yeah. So, look, man, I'm an Android diehard. I cannot stand Apple, iOS.
Emily's an iPhone, right?
She has an iPhone. As a content creator, it almost does make more sense to have an iPhone. Yeah. I actually do have her old iPhone that I use for like content stuff because I do have a Mac that I use for my editing.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what is your editing software on?
So I use Final Cut Pro on.
iPhone makes sense.
So iPhone makes sense. And man, do they not make it easy to move video from Android over to iPhone. I think that's what's so frustrating about being an Android user is like...
Just come to the dark side, man. Isn't
No, I'm not done here. Hold on.
I'm just saying.
Look, I've seen like a comedian talk about this before. I feel like Android users are the most discriminated group in America. And like, you know, I've seen like people go around like to, you know, all these pretty girls and be like, okay, he's a 10, but he has an Android. What is he now? And they're like a 2. And
wow.
I was like, wow, okay.
Is an Android not sexy enough?
It isn't, apparently. Apparently full customization is not
so like a Galaxy isn't pretty.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, they look like they can make great content on those things.
Galaxies are amazing. I used to have the 21 Ultra Pro, whatever it was. The coolest thing about this was the zoom on it was unreal. It was like 27 times zoom. Yeah. And I was such an old man. I would be at restaurants or like at a food truck bar or something. And I'm like, what's on the menu? And I would get my phone and I'd just zoom it in. And that was amazing. That was probably the only thing I liked about that phone. I'm not a big Samsung guy.
Technically, these are Samsung.
Oh yeah, they are made in the Samsung plant, huh? But,
yeah, it's really the same software inside, kind of. Just
I think a lot of the same components. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. No, I just don't like. So I use Android, but I have a Google Pixel because Android is developed by Google. So my idea is I like to have the least amount of companies with my data, and
so you want the biggest.
Yeah, that, and I also
Google has all your info.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, Google's got me.
Which this pretty much runs on that too.
I'm sure Steve Jobs got you.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all screwed.
And yeah, exactly. But that, and then I think I've always learned too. It's like, look, man, if a company builds the software and the hardware, I think it makes more sense to get that company versus, someone like Samsung who they build the hardware and then a little bit of the software that's like taped together to the Android or the Android operating system. Yeah. So anyways, that's my spiel. Big Pixel guy. Love Google Pixel. Ride or die. You
know what I couldn't do with you because you have an Android and I have an iPhone? I couldn't airdrop the photos we took today.
Yeah. But you know what? This is the problem. It's not my fault. It's not Android's fault. It's Apple's fault.
This is the life we live, man.
No, it's all Apple's fault. So that's what I'm saying. Everyone's mad about green bubbles. Bro, It's not our fault. Apple purposely is using a 20-year-old technology. They're still using SMS messaging because of that. They're trying to pressure people to buy iPhones so they are on iMessage. They don't need to do that. They could easily fix that.
I'm loving this.
But they just,
This is conspiracy talk all the way.
No, it's not conspiracy. It's real. I'm telling you, this is what they're doing. And that's why Europe got on Apple about it. Thankfully, someone did and said, okay, your Thunderbolt Lightning thing, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. USB-C or die. And then they're also on them saying, like, also no more green text. And so now Apple's in the next year or two is going to have to update their thing, their messaging thing. Yeah, and that's why, like, if I, as an Android user, send a picture to you through text, it looks like a potato. I'm like, yeah.
Why don't you just get an iPhone? Because we all have one.
Do I look like someone who caves to peer pressure?
It's not that. It's a convenience for taking a good photo and sending it to me.
I'm going to guarantee you that my camera takes a much better photo.
It's not that, as I won't be able to see it.
Yeah, you sure can. If I can send it to you on
Google?
WhatsApp. I could send it to you on Instagram.
No, but Instagram still shrinks it. It's not the same.
Still better than
sending it through messaging.
Through messaging.
Yeah, that's totally true. You know, I just love Apple because it's just convenient. It's really like all my products.
I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ride now. Let me get in my Apple spiel. I do think Apple's got their ecosystem.
Yes.
I think the ecosystem that Apple's like created, top notch. You know, AirDrop, I think it's magic, honestly. I can't explain how AirDrop works so fast. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing ever. Is it Bluetooth? I don't know.
Have you seen the movie Office Christmas Party?
No.
So like the, not to kill the ending of the movie, but one of the things that they were trying to, I mean, it's obviously not about the product that they're selling. It's an office Christmas party and getting lit. But the product that they end up, you know, succeeding in is being able to get internet via just like Wi-Fi indefinitely. Like it bounced, like I don't know if it's possible, but like you're getting internet connection through waves of the build, like things bouncing around.
Like 5G?
Yeah, kind of, but like not how 5G works. Like you don't need radio towers. You use everyone's cell phone. I don't know how they explain it. That's the premise. So that's what I was thinking of what you just said right there.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm like,
AirDrop.
Yeah. But like, how does AirDrop work? Like, how does that really bounce off information from nothing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of people like to ask me like, what kind of camera do I use or what do I recommend? And then it's funny when I'm in places like this, and I got to see your setup. I can see Josh set up, Gene set up, and you see what kind of cameras they use. And then one of the questions I get is, what camera should I buy? Right? Because they want, I'm like, well, you have an iPhone, just use that. And then they're like, no, I want to up it a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? That's like the next question. It's like, what do you plan on doing with this camera? Right? They're like, oh, I just want to take photos. I'm like, okay, well, you have an iPhone. Just stick with that. I was like, no, I want to go above and beyond. I'm like, is that all you want to do? Or do you plan on doing content creation with it? Otherwise, why are you asking me that question? So I'm like, no, I eventually want to like film stuff. And I'm like, okay, so
this person seems to have a lot of apathy.
Yeah, I get these questions a lot. Like my DMs are like a third tech questions.
And
I'm like,
you got your affiliate links?
No, I don't. I should be doing stuff.
By this time, Shai will have his affiliate links down below.
Oh no.
He is not going to be recommending.
I do not recommend these stands.
These stands for mics.
So these stands were mainly just because I could travel with it, not the stands that I actually use from people when I actually have thing. There we go. But one of the things I ask is when they go, should I get Nikon, Canon, or Sony? And I'm like, what you can get out of a Sony, there's just more out there for it.
I definitely agree. When it comes to cameras, I'm definitely pro Sony. We both, I think this camera over here is a ZV-10, and I bought it because you had it, even though we already had a ZV-1 for Emily, which was kind of the predecessor to it, which is nice. The ZV-10 is perfect.
I highly recommend that camera for
anyone. I think it's the best beginner camera and even intermediate camera. And the one big thing, I haven't exercised this yet, is you can actually change the lenses out on that one. And
the ZV you can't? The regular ZV-1?
The ZV you can't. Yeah, we bought this like ragtag like lens that clamps on top of the lens.
That's really weird that Sony would make a camera where you can't interchange.
I think that's why they ended up upgrading so fast to this.
How old is a ZV-1?
The ZV-1 I think came out 2019.
Surprising, like why they put a lens that doesn't come off like that.
But then they quickly released that one. because I think people were just off the bat.
Not only that,
about
people
it.
were starting to live stream more. They want to use DSLRs.
That's the other thing too, is these mirrorless cameras are amazing for live streaming. I know you had said like if you were recording with it for too long, it could overheat.
Well, yeah. So the ZV-10, the only downside that I personally have with it is that over like, because 70-degree weather, the house gets pretty warm, it just shuts off after when it gets overheat. And I was using it a lot when I was doing a lot of motorcycle club videos.
Yeah.
So I did it during like 98-degree weather in the back of a trunk. Like we opened the truck and I was in the back recording it while my guys are running around. It just kept dying like just quickly. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. So that does overheat. I don't know if the new one of that camera fixed that, but
oh yeah, the ZV-2.
Yeah, I think whatever that camera is, I think that might have solved that issue. But I still think it's a great camera. Unlike so these ones are A6s. It's an A6,
also Sony brand.
Yeah, also Sony brand. This one's an A6 IV, and that one's A6 I. Or vice versa. I can't really tell from this far. I don't have my glasses on me. So, but primarily one's just a newer stuff with a little bit of more little differences in how things are programmed. But for the most part, it's the same concept. And the operating system's the same. The lens quality is the same. There's just this was just a little faster.
Oh, okay.
That one. There's really not. There's really not much. So if anyone wants to get into the A6 family, highly recommend any of them.
Click the affiliate links down below.
The only problem, I don't know about the A6 IV, but the A6 I need a capture card to live stream, whereas the ZV E10 doesn't need a capture card, right? You can just plug that straight into your camera.
Yeah.
And you can just start hitting.
So I didn't realize you needed capture cards for that. That's
the 100. I don't know about the 400.
Okay. Yeah. So that one is just straight. You plug in the USB
and play.
And you're good to go. There's a mode you switch it on. And,
yeah, it's good.
And it's awesome. I've left the camera on overnight many times on accident. Totally fun.
Use a dummy battery and just leave it on.
Yeah, that's it.
So you recommend Sony too? We're not being paid for this.
Yeah, I would. I do recommend Sony for that. I do own stock in Sony. I feel like I should.
Or you have to disclose that information.
I don't know. I just see like big podcasters do that.
So, okay.
But I do personally own stock in Sony.
Okay. Well, Sony is not a sponsor representation or this podcast.
This is not financial advice.
No. But no. So one thing I recommend for a lot of content creators out there is that you got to look at the longevity of what the camera is. And what they specialize in and what accessories are out there and continue to be out there. So like Canon is a great camera, but how many lenses are there for Canon?
You're right.
Like how many, like, cause most of these, like I could use this lens on that camera, same lens on that camera. You can interchange most of the lenses and it's really, the economy on it, it's vast. And you can do that with a lot of lenses where in Canon, it's like, you can only get this lens for these kinds of Canons.
That's no bueno.
It's not the same.
Yeah, that doesn't hit.
I don't know. When you said about the economy of the product, it does play a big thing when you choose Android versus Apple.
That is the unfortunate is once you pick one, you want to be really careful with what you pick.
Did you ever think this was going to be a thing like 20 years ago, 10 years ago?
I mean, for me, because I was doing this, 15, 20 years ago already, it's kind of like I'd always hoped to get back and do it. So I guess, no.
No. I mean, like when we think of technology back when the technology wasn't like this, right? Where one would dominate all based on convenience. It was more like,
yeah, I definitely think there was that too. I mean, you got the whole. Remember, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC.
Well, that was all marketing.
Yeah. But I mean, it was always like that. And then if you're really gonna, I'm a tech guy. I use Linux, by the way. And
that's what I was kind of leading to. As someone who embraces what that is and does it for a living, like what is your opinion on all that?
Well, so here's the unfortunate thing is, so I love Linux. I think Linux is by far, it just works.
What is Linux?
So Linux is an operating system. You have your big three, which is Linux, whatever Apple's thing is, OS, and PC and or Windows, and those all come from their great grandfather, which was like Unix and then also DOS. So those split up, and then Microsoft just kind of started making their own thing from DOS, whereas Linux was an open source project where I think his name was Linus Torvald, just kind of made his own software, and people were able to just upload to it and fix the code as it went by. And then Apple kind of did their own private thing, but they based theirs a little bit. It's similar to Linux. Yeah. But now you get to this day where for the last like 10 years or so, and my opinions have changed a little bit. I hated Microsoft. There's so many like things running in the background, makes everything slow. Windows is awful. I hate it. But eventually they got a new CEO who came from the Linux world. And so he's a little bit more pro open source. And I think they kind of started understanding that, well, maybe we shouldn't be trying to sue all these open source dudes. Maybe we should embrace it.
Yeah.
So they started doing things. They bought the company. GitHub was one of their big first moves that kind of scared everybody. Since then, I have kind of changed my tune a little bit when it comes to Microsoft, because I think Windows 10 and 11 is a lot better than it originally what it came from. And yeah, I'm able to actually like use a little Linux terminal inside my thing. So I have everything I need now. But what really changed the game was gaming. And unfortunately, there ain't too many good games on Linux or Apple. And so that pretty much meant like, well, I think I'm going to have to suck it up, because I really wanted to get out of console, and I really wanted to start playing.
PC gaming?
Yeah, I really wanted to be a PC gamer.
Where is it?
That's right there.
With all this stuff in front of it?
Yeah, well, I had to move it for the show. Yeah, so that's my...
Did you build that, or...
No, I...
Bought it built?
I bought a pre-built, like a scrub, and that was because this was back in the time. This is a funny story. Was in on GameStonk on Wall Street Bets on Reddit. I was in on that pretty early, so I made enough money from that.
Nice.
I could have made more if I sold at the right time, but I didn't. But I did make money.
Life.
Yeah, at least I came out in the green. A lot of people did not. I used that money to buy a computer.
Oh,
and but that was like early 2021, maybe.
You make it sound like 2021 so long ago.
It was around the time of the freeze. I remember having it, but I just remember graphic cards at the time were just insanely expensive. And I looked into doing building it myself, and the graphic card cost more than a pre-built with the graphics card already in it.
What is the price point for that, so people can understand?
So yeah, at the time I think a graphics card was running like $1,700 or something.
Jesus.
For like I think it was at the time the 3070s were out.
And now?
Now they're cheap. They're back to like a reasonable price. So,
like $200?
Yeah, like 300 or something. That's what there should be at retail, 300 or 400 or something like that. I can tell you things are back to normal, because I was visiting some friends in Florida, and at Costco they were selling PCs for, like really good PCs for like $1,000. And I was like, dang.
Well, I mean, okay, so that's all tech in general. So like, remember when plasmas first came out?
Oh my God. Yeah.
You remember when flat screen TVs first came out for like a small, less than 32-inch television? It was like
with a couple big back.
Okay, so but the flat screens though.
Oh, the flat
screens, like by themselves without the back. Well, they were like thousands of dollars for like a 16-inch.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy time.
And then now you can get like a 52-inch for like $300, like a Samsung.
Exactly.
At Costco.
They do have the expensive ones, like the OC.
They do,
LED.
but it's like when you look at something like that, like, this is great. That's cool. I can see that guy's face. Like if it was like I'm up close, it's super clear, and that's unnatural because it's so clear.
Yeah, it's really unnerving.
But how long until that $2,000 television is $500?
Yeah, right.
Another year.
And eventually, it just. But then, what's the next TV?
Right. But so, what kind of sucks about that, and going back to the cameras, is that the cameras, those stay the same price. This is like a 5-year-old camera. This is a 3-year-old camera. That's
and
a
the
2-year-old
lenses
camera
as well.
The lenses don't. They haven't changed much in pricing. Maybe they drop like $50 or $100.
Yeah.
When a new one comes out, but it does not.
It really
drop.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
I've wondered about that myself. I'm like, that's crazy. Phones, 2 years later, phone is like 80% of its value is lost. Camera, it's particularly,
especially these ones, these Sony ones. They don't like. I could easily resell these for not probably mint, but a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
What do you think it's like, because of content creation and more people are filming, recording, doing stuff like that? The quality of just the camera itself, or like the camera? I mean, I don't know much about it, but it's
I would
very
say
odd.
I think one of the things we had touched on earlier, ecosystem. They say we're going to stick with this same lens forever. These same lens types. So your lens from 10 years ago should still work with a modern day camera, right? And that's the idea behind it. And I think the brand loyalty behind that, like, it's pretty much like their loyalty to the fans, or the consumer, of like, we're not going to switch things up, is rewarded with, okay, then we're going to keep these things like at a high price. The resell on these things are still going to be really high. They're going to be coveted, but I don't know how that really helps.
I mean, you see the same thing in Lego.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that, right?
Yeah.
It only took 43 minutes to talk about something with Lego in it. And with no Lego room. But I think the same concept goes with that too. Like if you can keep a set together, then it maintains the value, and the pieces still work back then till today.
Yeah, right. It's like
really
the system ain't changing.
No, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's actually an exact point, right?
I mean, they did try to change, and then that completely messed them up.
When was that? You mean like the
weird snaps kind of looking thing?
What were they called?
Galador.
Yeah,
Galador. Well, I mean, they were turning into like figs or like action figures.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about like snaps or those weird connects looking pieces and stuff like that. You know, those types of things. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
this isn't Lego.
That was a weird.
You can't really.
That's
be
right. I forgot
compatible.
about those. I didn't even know about those until like a year or two ago.
I didn't know about them either. I didn't know those were things. But like but if a traditional classic Lego set from back in the 50s, 60s can still function with a brand new Lego piece now. They might not be the same quality because the mold is different, but they can still go.
Yeah,
right. So that's an interesting way of figuring out a product that can live forever and maintain a value. I don't know.
I mean, that's the same. Actually, I'm gonna get made fun of for this, but I saw this meme about when men pick their brand of like electrical tools. And
I was just talking to Josh about that.
Oh yeah.
Well, because I went to his garage. He's like, you want to see the wood shop? I'm like, yes, I want to see the wood shop. And then immediately you see his brand of tools on the wall, and he's a DeWalt guy.
He's a DeWalt guy. He would be a DeWalt guy.
He would be a DeWalt guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I am?
Red one.
There's two reds. I don't know if it's Canada.
Milwaukee.
I wish.
Milwaukee. No.
I wish if I can choose to start from scratch, it would be Milwaukee.
Okay.
I have a lot of Craftsman, not by choice. It's just because that's what I was gifted in the beginning. Okay, so when you buy a house, right? What's the one thing we all need?
Tools. Yeah.
Tools, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're housewarming gifts, you're gifted tools. And it's a good housewarming gift is to give somebody like a set of tools that they're going to need. And a lot of people gave me Craftsman. I didn't want Craftsman.
You wanted Milwaukee?
I wanted Milwaukee. And I wish if I could start from scratch, it was Milwaukee. But right now I have a lot of DeWalt and I have a lot of Craftsman. Those are the two.
So again, people are going to make fun of me. I'm a Ryobi guy.
Really? Like that green, huh?
Well, I can't lose it. Yeah, I actually got a drill right over there. Green Ryobi.
That lime green.
The lime green. But I like it.
Do you cut your grass?
I do.
What is it?
Ooh, I got an electric Ryobi.
I'm an Ego guy.
Ego? Yeah, that's cool too. I mean, I'll say I don't have a problem with my lawnmower. The only issue I have is I can't get it to get any lower. But that's a whole different problem.
So that's a tool problem.
Yeah, but the reason I went with Ryobi, because my dad also switched to Ryobi later in life, and for the same reason is Ryobi had said we will never change our batteries. We even if there's a new type of power source, we're going to
maintain the connection.
Yeah, so we will never change that. So batteries, you can always interchange batteries with your tools. So I take my battery out of my drill, I put it into my saw, then I take it out, put it into my leaf blower, then I take it out and put it into my weed whacker.
That is convenient.
That's what I'm here for, man. Ecosystem. So that's what it is. That's what these brands need to take from Sony, Ryobi, and Lego. It's just,
right. You got to throw Lego in there.
Yeah, exactly. Just had to. And so that's why I'm ride or die Ryobi. But it's funny. I do appreciate the memes about Ryobi. One of my favorites.
I don't see them because I don't talk about it. I think this is the first time I said Ryobi come out of my mouth.
It's funny
in a long time. Well, a lot of it has to come with like what's your local hardware store? I
mean, it's Home Depot. Ryobi is a Home Depot. Yeah, so you can't buy Ryobi at Lowe's.
You can only get Craftsman at Lowe's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or it was Sears and Lowe's, but Sears died. But Milwaukee's and Home Depot, right? I think. And then
I thought it was both.
I thought it was both. No, they don't all have everything. I know Ace has Milwaukee. They have DeWalt. I don't know. They're all weird. Like they all have like loyalties to like one only. Like I remember Ego. I can get that at Home Depot. And then now it's only at Lowe's, not Home Depot. But they have Ryobi.
Yeah.
So and Ego batteries suck.
Really?
They're horrible.
Oh man.
No, they're good until they're not.
Oh, so it sounds like they suck.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm learning about like my lawnmower battery. I've heard it. You're lucky if you get about 2 years out of it.
Okay, so it's not just you. Okay.
Yeah, right, I think that's in general lawnmower batteries. I've made mine 3 years, so and it still seems to be.
I had 5 batteries. One's only working now.
Really?
All bought at the same time.
I I would not buy them at the same time.
Well, I got them all because they came with a tool. So when I
Mm.
bought the house 6 years ago, I didn't want to pay for a landscaper. So I wanted to get into lawn care myself and do everything myself. So I bought all the tools, and all the tools came with their own battery, all Ego. So the trimmer, cutter, all all of them, leaf blower, they all came with a battery. So
Gotcha.
now I have one battery left, and it's only the leaf, not the leaf blower, the actual lawnmower battery, the big giant one is the only one that works properly.
Oh man,
I can get a good hour and a half now. But since I got a tortoise, my tortoise and my dog destroy my lawn, so I stopped.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I mean, my tortoise trims the grass.
Yeah, we haven't even really got into lawn care.
We haven't.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Shy and I, for years now, we talk about lawn care. He's kind of got out of the game because of the tortoise
and the dog.
I'm only in the game in the summer. So
what's the grass you have? St. Augustine, or is it Bermuda? Oh, that's like you need low. You need a low cutting mower.
Yeah. So like I said, mine's on the lowest. Again, Bermuda
like
is still different.
What's like an inch?
I think it's
inch
like
and a half.
Inch and a half is as low as mine gets.
Yeah, so you need to go lower.
I was like, because I remember at the store buying it.
Oh, you bought the grass?
No, the mower.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I need to get low. And they're like, yeah, unfortunately, we don't really have any that get low.
Don't the gas ones go low? Or are you looking for electric? Yeah, you want the electric.
I want an electric. My yard's small enough that...
I think now they have electrical mowers
that go down. As a man, I feel I couldn't figure out how to fix my carburetor after
It's a pain to have a gas power.
I was out there all the time fixing it. And then now I just got this electric one. It's got little headlights and everything.
Yeah, it's good. It's quiet. It's quiet. It still functions. It's quick. I like them. I'm a big fan
of electric mowers. Well, actually, almost everybody on my block has one too, so I was feeling a little bit pressure.
I think everyone that in my block that does their own lawn care, they all have electric.
Yeah.
Well, one is it's not necessarily cheaper in the front end, but long term, it's a lot because you don't have to take it for maintenance.
Right.
You don't have to buy gas. Ideally, you don't have to change out the carbs. Like it's
the batteries, and even then, I think when it comes to those batteries, you just buy like a Chinese one.
I don't know. I haven't bought a battery yet. I'm still running off the same ones.
Oh, gotcha.
So we like to cut our grass.
Yeah.
Grass. Actual grass.
So the problem here in Texas is I have this area of my yard that's pretty much shaded all the time, and it's just this big dirt patch.
Have you tried changing out the dirt?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that didn't work.
I've put new dirt on top of it.
Have you aerated?
I've tilled it.
You tilled it, yeah.
Yeah, so, I've tried so much. That's not the issue. The issue is that I could plant grass. I have successfully planted grass there.
But they die?
Yeah.
Is it water?
No, because of the 120 degrees.
It burns.
Yeah, it literally burns. I'm like, what happened here?
So a lot of people don't know what burning is for grass.
Yeah.
It's that yellow patch and it dies.
And it just shrivels up and dies. So I'm like...
Is it the dogs?
No. The dogs don't help.
No, because when they pee, does that.
Yeah, but this particular part of the grass, it's not. They don't even go there because it's just dirt.
So have you given up on your yard? Now you're just maintaining it.
It's winter, so you don't got to do anything.
No, like now, like this past, like after that moment.
I'll never give up my yard. I love my yard. I love yard work. I love doing the alpha dad thing.
So you try to outdo the rest of your neighbors?
Yeah, but I got this one neighbor.
I can't see the grasses out there in the front, so I won't be
Or it's bad right now. In the winter, everybody gets a pass. I don't even rake my leaves anymore. I'm like, it's fertilizing the ground.
Or nitrogen going to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm very big on like just having a presentable house. I had to think, who was I talking to? Gene? I think it was Gene. Like one of my things is like I just want the living room to be clean. Right, that way, when I walk into the house is in somewhat order. Yeah. Everything else can be a mess in the house. It's not the living room clean. Or I just want the dishes to be done. Or like the yard, though, I always want it to be clean.
So my thing, I agree with the yard. I might not be as good about the house itself.
You're a Lego. You're a Lego. Look at what's going on.
Well, even externally, the house, it's there, it looks nice.
Yeah.
But I can't
tell you're a Lego fan coming into this house.
Oh yeah, not at all. We do that on purpose.
There's
Lego's only upstairs.
You go upstairs and it's everywhere.
Yeah. So No, but like on the outside of the house, I'd like to try to do my best to really just the lawn. Like I have no idea how to garden. I really wish we have.
You don't have a green thumb? Do you have plants in the house?
Downstairs we have a few, but like we just started that. I think one's already dying. It's very tragic.
It happens.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
And like I want to be into. I want to be a plant girl.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I should give you a book. I have a book. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of water.
Yeah,
it's a lot of changing soil.
Yeah, that's actually the part that I dislike the most. I think that, and then it's like half of them are like, "Oh, we need distilled water." Not.
Oh, I don't go that serious. Well, the things are like, I don't know how the piping is here in Austin, but at least LA they redid all of our pipes, so our water is technically drinkable. you don't have to. I mean, you should, but like still, they change the water where all the water is. Pretty much.
We don't have our water is drinkable. The problem with this is actually fun. We'll talk about this. So, problem is we have really hard water here.
What is that?
So, hard water means it has generally a high total dissolved solid. So there's a lot of solids in the water. High pH. I test my water pretty often, and I think we're sitting at like a 7.8.
What does that mean?
It's more basic than acidic. Most people in America have sometimes what they call it sweet water is the slang, but it's usually more acidic. But one of my other big hobbies is fish keeping.
Well, what does that mean health wise? Like if you were to consume it?
Oh, that's fine.
Nothing. It just taste different.
Well, they actually,
is it more healthier?
If you're talking to like Gwyneth Paltrow, she'll tell you that alkaline water is better for you.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
But I do think there is some merit to alkaline water. I do think it's funny. I remember once she was like, I love to put a lemon wedge in alkaline water. And I was like, so you're putting an acid you're neutralizing any of the alkalinity that was in that water with that acid from the lemon, but that's cool.
I have no idea what's happening, what you're talking about, but that's cool.
So water is a big thing for me.
Okay.
I studied a lot of water in my past life. But so one of the things that I was always into was fish keeping. So one of the problems with living somewhere with you can see it. We'll get to that in a second. So one of the problems with getting with hard water is most of the hobbyist fish, like fish you'll get, come from generally South America. They all come from more acidic water. So it's really frustrating being a fish keeper when your water is hard. So now you have these options. You can either pay for an expensive RO. What I was doing was I was hauling jugs of water to the grocery store and buying RO water and filling it up and bringing it back to fill things up. And it's awful. It sucked. And, fish just start to die because they're not meant to live in that.
Yeah.
I actually had a really bad accident with my fish. Not actually the water itself. The heater busted open at some point and fried my fish.
Oh my God! What a way to go!
Yeah, I was really, really depressed about it.
That's very sad.
To this day, this happened months ago, and I still haven't brought myself.
Oh, I thought it was more like I was young.
No. This happened a few months ago.
Oh no! How come I didn't hear about that? I feel so bad.
I don't know, because I feel bad too. I feel like a bad fish keeper.
You didn't want to tell any of us?
Yeah. And so they all died, and I haven't even the aquarium is still running. There's just no fish in it. It's covered in algae, and I'm like, my dad's gonna come down. We're gonna go through it, but so that's the thing is I feel like decided I've just given up on doing not necessarily. I've given up on South American fish. Okay. Any fish that doesn't work for my water parameters, I'm not going to bend backwards for fish anymore. Is kind of my
that makes
plight.
Sense.
So that brings me to my new endeavor. So I took Emily to the airport a few weeks ago, and when she came back, I was I was cultivating a shrimp farm. And so this aquarium that you see behind me, it's actually a shrimp tank. So inside of it is, I think I put about, 15, 13 freshwater shrimp in there.
Okay.
And they come from, I want to say Asia.
Do they get big? Can you eat them?
No. Well, I mean, you can eat anything, but that's not what they're there for.
Okay.
They're there for the vibes.
Wow.
And they're just these cute little shrimp.
I'm trying to see them, but
I got some red ones, some yellow ones, and some blue ones. You ever play that game on Nintendo, Pikmin? Used to love that game as a kid. Well, they look like little Pikmin. Yeah. So that's why I like them a lot. And they carry things around. Yeah. Just these little cute shrimp. But the good thing is I used to keep them as a kid too. I also had hard water. Is that they do well in hard water. Yeah. So that's I'm trying to reevaluate. I was like, this hobby is really depressing. I can't keep the fish I want to keep because I don't have the right water parameters. I'm not going to spend $3,000 on an RO system. nobody's gonna go to the grocery store every week to fill up jugs of water, put it in, even then just to test it to find out that the water in the tank is still too hard.
I just got like an image of you coming home and all your fish are dead and you're just standing there defeated.
Yeah, I was
just looking at it like.
Well, I was like, where? Because the main fish I had in there was this angelfish, and I had the angelfish.
There's just something inherently depressing about seeing a dead fish.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one thing that you're hunting it or you're fishing it and you get it and you catch it.
Well, I mean, it's a pet, and
it is. But then when you see it, like, because you see it like the physical change of a live fish to a dead fish. I mean, because it's in water. It's
red.
Its eyes are.
It wasn't pretty.
It's
I was really sad. I had to give it a funeral in the toilet. Yeah, toilet funeral.
We don't even name our fish in our house when we ever get one. I'm just like, this is number
Emily
4.
names that one. We had actually named that fish Bo-Katan.
That's cute.
That angelfish.
/sad.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm really bummed about it. I really love that fish. But
what was the life expectancy of it, anyways?
Angelfish can live like 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, 10 or 15 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I've had one that lived past 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at keeping fish.
It's a labor of love. Something else I noticed too is like my aquarium was downstairs and I would never see it. I've noticed I put this aquarium here in my office, and I mean I'm tending to it every day. I have
this is also your command center.
Yeah,
because you're always here. So
I'm almost like debating. I'm like, should I bring that other aquarium up here? But it's
a lot of carrying weight that you're bringing up here. That's just to live up here. I mean, there's just something like being a homeowner. I am a little antsy about having a lot of water above ground, like on the second floor, third floor, because if it does drop, I'm in California, earthquakes, so that's
all my shells, these are all
that's fine. But earthquake wise, if a fish tank drops on the second floor, that water needs to go somewhere.
Could anyone hear it?
I don't know. My kids really want a fish tank again, and I'm like, no, I don't like. Every time we get a fish, it dies because you guys clean it wrong, and then the fish die after you clean it.
How do they clean it?
Well, I mean temperature, and then the way you're supposed to clean a fish tank, but they don't let it acclimate to the new water, so the temperature changes. Toss it back in. Random things. I'm like, oh, did you do this? I'm like, you didn't tell us to do that. I'm like, what? That's why I don't want to fish. Stop buying fish. We have a tortoise and a dog. The tortoise is probably the best pet I've ever had in my life. Not really. I miss my indigo dog. I miss my husky.
Tortoises are pretty cool though.
They're self-proficient. Yeah, they just. But I don't do anything for them. I just gotta make sure they don't freeze to death. Like right now, I would have to bring it inside. There's no way it would live in 31-degree weather. But like 45 degrees, it can maintain. But it just brumates, so it just kind of knocks out.
My aunt had tortoises, and unfortunately one of them had died.
Freezing?
Yeah, it was a cold snap too. It was like one of those days where it just dropped 15 degrees in like 30 minutes.
And that was it.
And that's all it took. It was really sad.
What was it? Was it sulcata tortoise like mine? The really big ones.
Yeah, it was a big one. The one with like the ridges.
Yeah. The sulcata tortoise.
Yeah.
It has a really dragon scaly legs looking dig.
It was a cool turtle.
Yeah, it's cool. They're when you see them, it's like, whoa, you have a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. And it sucks too because it was in a like protected shed with like a heat lamp and everything.
And it was still not enough.
I think it just wasn't turned on because it wasn't it was so sudden.
Mine is. I need to get that. I have a doghouse for it, and it's like insulated and stuff like that. But it prefers when it's really cold, it goes like underneath the house where the piping's at, where the warm water is at. So it just stays there, and it's just really warm. So I'm like, okay, whatever. What's best for you. You're fine. I don't need to force it.
They're like 75 million years old.
But going back with grass, it just trims it itself. That's all it eats all day. Like during summer, it just eats grass all day, and then just literally poops grass everywhere. Which
that's right. Their poop is like this weird little fiber.
Yeah, but it's good fertilizer for the grass. So just kind of like
makes sense.
Dog is like not good, but like I have a self-moving
lawnmower
that I really don't have to maintain much, and like this is cool to look at because it's a very curious animal. So like when you open the gate, kind of like walks to you, and they're quick.
Yeah,
they are not like
Yeah, they don't.
They're like
sloths.
They move fast, and I'm like Jesus. But I feel like I should do more content with it.
I think you should.
I've used it once in the clone video for like a second.
I think I remember that.
It just comes out of the boxes eating trying to eat a strawberry.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's cool. Like
you should make like a Lego
tank out of it.
Yeah,
I should put a Lego turd on top.
Oh, that would be cool.
That moves.
Yeah,
that actually can move with a controller with a motorized like little.
Have you seen those videos of like the turtles that like lost their leg or something?
And they use like Lego. Yeah, I don't know if it was Lego. I thought it was something else. I thought it was like
I've seen one with Lego.
Was it
where they,
Lego?
like, yeah, where they like essentially like glued a Lego plate, and then after that, we're able to build like wheels and other attachments.
What was the Sandlot contraption? Erector set.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what
You've seen one
I've
like that too.
seen. Yeah, with the wheels and because it has all that stuff and it's very durable.
Mhm.
Because after a while, those things are tanks and they just plow. Like my buddy has one that's 35 years old now, or 36. That thing's the size of this. It takes a bunch of us to lift it because we have to use a wheelbarrow and to put it into it because he has a lifted truck. So it's like, hey bro, can you come over? Right
Hey, I need help lifting my tortoise.
I'm like, why are we moving the tortoise? It's plowing through the wall. We have people coming over. I'm like, all right,
it's plowing through the wall.
So, but that thing, like, if that they can break your ankle if you're really not paying attention.
Oh,
They just walk to, and they have the protruding spikes, so they can really like lift you up. And because what they do, they lift each other up to flip them over. Those things can like puncture your legs.
Oh, really? Ew.
So, but either way, I should do more content with the tortoise. I think it's just a cool animal.
Yeah, it's a super cool one. You know, one day we were taking our dog walking by these springs, like this little stream, and I looked over there and I saw this big gray blob, and I was like, "What was that?" It was a common snapping turtle.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I was
Do
like,
you have those here?
Yeah, I was like,
in the wild.
Whoa,
that's kind of scary.
Whoa, and I had to grab Ladybird and be like, "Yeah, we're not playing around there."
Yeah, that thing can like chomp you off.
Yeah, it'll cut a finger, it'll cut a limb off. Yeah, well, cut a finger off at least, especially a dog limb. And so I was like, no.
What predators do you have here? We have mountain lions.
Predators. Let's see.
Florida has the gator.
Man. Gators do exist more in southeast or Texas, like Houston has gators.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Those are dinosaurs, man.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'd say here, not really anything.
So humans.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a Chihuahua, I'd be a little bit skeptical of hawks. I used to have a Chihuahua, and I was always terrified of a hawk or something. But no, nothing crazy. Rattlesnakes, I guess, would be probably the worst one. And then we have brown recluse spiders.
Yeah.
So everything that could kill us isn't gonna like devour us like a lion.
It's just to mess you up.
Yeah. It's mostly venomous.
Well, I mean, our mountain lions really don't attack you.
Oh, really?
I mean, if you get in its way and run, you're gonna get attacked. But for the most part, they're scared.
Gotcha.
They kind of stick to themselves.
Yeah,
and you'll never see them.
Yeah, and then the rattlesnakes are probably the worst ones.
Well, we have rattlesnakes too.
Yeah.
It's. Have you seen Yellowstone?
No, I need to.
Really? You haven't seen the original Yellowstone?
No, like it looks really good though.
You should. And what I was getting at is that in the prequels to it, with I guess prequels,
the new ones, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they came out at the same time as like season 4 and 5.
Okay, so that's the one with
Faith Hill and Tim McGraw or Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
That's 1923.
Okay,
that's that one. 1883 is depressing as hell.
Okay,
because every episode you're like, well, wow, it's the Oregon Trail. That's what it was, and a lot of things happened to Oregon Trail and
dysentery.
And it didn't really. I mean, they can get the creator said he can get into the whole, was it right or was it not? Because essentially Europeans taking over the West, right? And but the Americans they were advertising to settle in the West because they needed people to settle in the West. They didn't tell them about what was happening in the West. They didn't tell them about the Native Americans that will tax you when you go through their land, but the bandits that will rob and do things to you, making it to the other end. What I was getting at is there's a couple of rattlesnake incidents.
Oh yeah,
and then hit some people and they die.
Oh yeah, that you're done.
It's like
then,
but still, I mean, now that can still happen to you where you get bit and don't do anything about it, and you're gonna die like within a couple hours. But it's just thinking about how something like a spider, can really mess you
just
up.
A spider, man. A brown recluse. It's not even like a brown recluse. Doesn't even like at least a black widow is like terrifying looking. Yeah, but brown recluse, it's just like a brown spider.
Have you ever seen a camel spider?
Yes, these things are terrifying. I'm sure you've seen them plenty. My dad's told me tons about them.
We used to make them fight scorpions,
like Pokemon.
Yeah, no, we did. So we'd find the different types of scorpions you can find out in the desert. Find a camel spider, find whatever, and just let them go. Yeah, take bets. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
but it was something to do because we had nothing to do. Sometimes
camel spiders are terrifying.
They are. If anyone's not seen a camel spider, look it up. It's not.
It doesn't even look like a spider, honestly.
Well, the thing. So a black widow. There's just something about it that's terrifying but majestic about it. Not really
Mhm.
majestic, but something like appealing about looking at it. It's like
Yeah.
black with that red,
The red.
thing. Like it's
Mhm.
very distinctive, right? A brown recluse is the brown version of that. It's just not, as clean. But if you're disgusted by those two spiders, just look at a camel spider and you'll be terrified. I don't know why we're talking about spiders.
Yeah,
We barely
man.
talked about
I've
anything.
got arachnophobia, dude.
Huh?
Freaking me out.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Spiders coming out of the
Yeah,
drain.
let's not.
No, you don't do
Let's
that.
not do that.
Okay, we'll go back. So right quick. I mean, we didn't really talk about anything to do with Lego.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. We were just kind
Was
of
this a
BSing.
Lego podcast?
Not really.
I missed that part.
It's talking to people who love Lego and kind of get behind the scenes. I don't know why just define it. There is no definition of it.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of going everywhere. There's Lego behind us. We're not really talking about it. You have 2 channels about Lego. Right quick, just so we could check
Just
that
check
box.
the box. All right.
What
Mr.
are
Saurus.
those 2 things?
Mr. Saurus, for all intents and purposes, is the Emosaurus affiliate or extension spin-off channel of more me. Is the idea of it. I was doing vlogs on it. I have so many ideas for vlogs that I want to do. My real issue when it comes to making vlogs, and it always stops me from starting, is I don't know how to market them. I don't know why, but that just stops me from wanting
How
to
does Emily do it?
painfully. It's very like, I don't know, does this look good? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, because she wins at that. Like, how if she could do it?
I mean, she does really well.
Like, you have a source.
Yeah, but we've also learned that our audiences are weirdly not.
They're not the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of overlap. But
Yeah, there's
it's
overlap for
completely-
sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So,
people-
what is your audience then on Mr. Soares?
on Mr. Saurus? I think it's a bunch of I think it's mostly men. I'm gonna say, and that's because Emily's is mostly women. That's changed recently in the last year or so. But
Really?
yeah, so it's actually predominantly women. Now the problem is it's hard to tell on YouTube because shorts and long form is all the stats are all
kind of
mixed
jumbled up
together.
together.
So you're like, I don't know.
I do say whenever I find a girl or a woman who's into watching Lego or into Lego, and I get into the whole YouTube question, like, do you watch Lego YouTube? They're like, not really, but do you recommend anyone? It's always Emily.
Oh,
I always push Emily. If
thank you for
it's
the
a
shout out.
well, I mean, it's like who was it? Someone like reached out to me like, hey, I have a son that's really into Lego, or I have a daughter really into Lego. She likes watching YouTube, but I don't like what she's watching, and it's usually like TD, brick science. And nothing wrong with that. They just don't want that kind of thing. They want more of a slower
Mhm.
thing. And I'm like, does she watch Emosaurus or does he watch Emosaurus? They're like, no, who's that? I'm like, okay, just go type this in. I know it's weird. And they're like, okay. And they'll watch and they're like, I can live with this. This is cool. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Cool.
There you go. But usually like when it's women and girls, I always like point out Emily.
That's
Always.
awesome.
I'm like, easy.
That's like a funny thing too about like Emily's content. It's family friendly.
Yeah,
right?
very family friendly.
People watching this might not know this about me. I'm family friendly in the streets, but in the sheets, I could get pretty raunchy. You know, I went to college. I don't know what none of that means anything.
What does that mean?
But I'm just like, I don't know.
Do you drink a beer?
I drink a few beers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's really
There
it.
you go. Mm-hmm.
I drink a lot of beer, actually. Too much,
Yeah,
according to my doctor. But
we're working
yeah.
on that, right? We're working on that. We're working out.
Oh, I switched to light. Oh, yeah.
Working out. We're trying to be more mentally
working
healthy.
out, too.
Yeah, there we go.
But
Gains.
yeah, it's all about those gains. Man, protein, dude, it's so hard to get them. Anyways, so yeah, it's like funny because like I'll like make jokes and I'll want to put stuff in my videos,
Mhm.
and everyone's like, "You can't do that," and I'm like, "Well, it's not Emosaurus, it's me."
But you're under the Emosaurus brand.
Yeah, but then that's where it gets like, okay, but now if we do anti-stud, which is
So that's your dark side?
so that's not really anti-stud for me is more my exploratory, like more produced videos. I've kind of learned the videos I like to make on that are really just building mocks.
Okay. So that's the difference.
Yeah, but now it's almost at the point I was like, well, if I'm just building mocks, I feel like I could have done that on Mr. Saurus.
Yeah. What?
But I'll say I am still glad I kept those channels separate because, you know, if Mr. Saurus's reviews and vlogs.
It's the husband version of Emily.
Yeah, exactly. It's the behind the scenes, the other room, versus Anti-Stud, which is more of a produced. It's almost faceless. I don't even advertise it.
It's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
doing. So I did one on one of my favorite videos I think I've ever done was the One Piece.
Oh, yeah.
So we had watched the Netflix show. I actually have
right there.
Yeah.
it's
So
right there.
I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but
Grab it. Let's put it right here.
because
Yeah, you can see it.
we'll see if it's.
Don't drop it now. If you do, at least we have it on film. There we go. Hey, look at those walls.
Yeah, there we go. So I tried my best with this. Really, it's not anything that Lego would sell, but I think it gets the job done.
What's the base of that? Is it the Bowser ship?
It was the Bowser's airship.
Okay.
Was that the base of all the bow pieces?
Yeah,
were.
the bows.
And so I had a really good time building it. It was one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, look, One Piece is the most popular anime in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I bet you a Lego One Piece would do pretty well. And yeah, I'm happy to say it's at almost 200,000 views. Yeah, and it was literally me sitting there like, I watched One Piece and I was like, man, I would love to see One Piece Lego. So I took the Bowser's airship, ripped it apart, kind of came up with a color palette, found these pieces over here, started building this, went to Bricks Minifigs, bought some figures that I thought could look like the crew, and then, yeah, built the ship, and I was really happy with it. And, yeah, it was a really fun time. And I've been doing that also with, like, some Minecraft builds, because I like building Minecraft mocks as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and those do well, too. So that's really kind of where I'm finding myself liking more. It's just, like, building mocks. Originally, I was trying to do more of the really high-produced GD style, Firebird. I think it was more my speed. I was trying to kind of.
I was gonna say like Firebird's a little slower than that.
Yeah, I was like, I could do that. I could do that.
Caleb's content is very, very consumable for me.
Yes,
like
I agree.
Nothing against generic TD or any of them. I love that they are like the pioneers for that type of content. They do so well, and they help the entire community with their content.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't thank them enough. And I mentioned it with Michael, like. I benefited from a TD video. Like one of my hidden goals, I don't really promote it as much, is like to find Lego veterans. Right? And it's very hard for me because you don't type it in Lego veteran anywhere. It's really through finding, me through you, through Emily, through Ryan, because we're all kind of scattered and we don't know that there's a place really for us, especially because we're kind of like pushed, not really acknowledged. But the TD video with him doing the military stuff, that was like, I haven't posted a military video in a while. Yeah, and I don't really do it. I don't really do it anymore as much because I don't know. I just don't feel like doing it. And I feel like, I've been investing on these equipment, so I haven't really buying any Brickmania stuff anymore or do anything like that.
Fair enough.
It's more focused on things that a one jet I can buy an entire army. I'll just buy the army and make 10 videos out of it versus anything else.
You and your armies.
I just bought 1,000 Imperial soldiers.
Like stormtroopers?
No, Imperial soldiers from Pirates.
Oh, gotcha. I was like,
so that's like an airplane in Brickmania. But anyways, I don't even know where I was getting with that. But having Caleb's content, it's like packaged the same way to gain that type of notoriety and pull.
Thumbnail wise,
you wouldn't know. Well, his thumbnails are also different. Like they follow the same schematic as far as like the basis equation of what a successful thumbnail should be. Right. Like, but there's a little slight tint differently. Like it's very him.
It's unique to him.
It's very unique to him. So when his and thumbnails like that you see with all these with all these content creators all look the same for the most part, right? I can't tell who's who unless I'm really looking at the little thing. But when Caleb's thumbnails come up, I know it's Firebird. Like I know it's not a generic stud or a TD or any of those kind of like. I mean, even them are kind of switching up the way they do the theirs is very distinctive amongst each other. But I mean, still a lot of people trying to emulate them. Right. A lot of people can't really emulate Caleb's. Right. His is very simple. It's very like the way he like highlights with dark black.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny you say that because I was just looking at his thumbnail earlier today.
It looks good.
Like, wait, is he?
But he's been doing that for a while. Yeah, he hasn't. That's not new. He's been doing that for a while. But it makes him stick out that way. And I love watching his pace of content. Yeah. Because it's like I can keep up. Like I don't have to stop. Wait, stop. Go back. Let me see that again. But having him, I think he's a good inspiration to get that type of feeling for trying to be entertaining to a mass audience and also still being consumable for someone like me who just wants to like really digest what the hell you're telling me.
And that's it. So weirdly enough, maybe it's not that weird. Caleb's his content kind of inspires me a lot more because he's building mocks, big
ones.
Not even so. Like,
Well, at first it was little, and now he's doing these.
no,
these
I'm talking about
table
so
size.
Caleb and I talk a few times
Mhm.
a month or so, anyways. But we were talking about this is his mech videos.
Oh, I love that one.
That's his biggest
killed it.
video.
They were so cool.
And all it
Yeah.
was is like he found like the Star Wars mechs like
Early.
4 days early at Kohl's, and he was like, "I bet you I'd make a funny video on this," and it's like almost at 1 million views,
dude. But it's not only those; it's the mechs he made afterwards. So the original 3 mechs were cool. So when
and then
we're
he built the
the X-wing. I was like, he built the X-wing. I'm like, you can't stop at just that.
Yeah,
That X-wing's dope. I mean, that's probably fine, but you need to do.
Yeah,
you need to do other stuff because
it's nice.
Mechs win in general. I don't know why people just don't really focus on it.
Well, that's interesting.
Kids like mechs.
You know,
there's an audience for it,
and that's like us as old school Lego Star Wars farts are like, oh, why are you wasting a set on a mech? We don't want a mech.
I bought 50 of them.
If you go, yeah.
I've done nothing to it. I'm just sitting there.
I'm glad you stopped at 50. I remember you being like, I want 100. I was like, how about you not?
I built 16. I'm like, I'm tired
of the house.
Right?
Like, let's not buy 100 Stormtrooper mechs.
I did it.
But it's interesting. I think Amazon now you can see volumes of products moving in like 30-day windows.
Yeah. See how they do.
And it's just like amazing. Like that many people bought a Stormtrooper or Darth Vader mech. I was like, I can't.
I bought 50.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm saying 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people versus you go look at like the Republic gunship and you'll see like there's maybe like 500.
Well, it's also $15 versus.
Yeah, and you're totally right. And you have to take that into account. But I mean, I think that's what's nuts. I think
the Stormtrooper is an army builder.
It is. Yeah, but I mean, $15 for a figure, essentially.
Well, I mean, but the mech itself is an army builder. No one really wants to think of it that way.
I mean, I think you might be the only one who thinks of it that way.
Hey, man, I loved it. And they look cool. There's cool. 4 of them together, 5, 6. And I think with Caleb's idea with I mean, his X-Wing looks like a Gundam.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that in itself is an appeal attraction on its own, just to get people to look at. Because there's always as all the way down to when we were children, like Power Rangers, like mechs just win.
Yeah, like, and you're right. Yeah, I remember getting one for my birthday, the Power Rangers.
I had a Dragonzord,
Voltron. Remember Voltron?
So you can't really to kids. I mean, outside the audience, you got to think outside the Lego audience if you really want the million views, right? You got to think bigger, and mechs do it. And I think he hit something on the head with it very hard. That went violent, but he hit something.
Yeah, he got it right.
Yeah, he got it right. And then
I think I can see his mech series being almost as successful as Do I Have This in My Lego City?
Where's she at with that now?
I think she's like on 35 or something.
That's it. I could have swore she was a lot farther than 35.
She just filmed one yesterday, but
Taylor Swift one was my favorite right now so far.
Oh yeah, that one's popping. We just posted that one to Shorts too. That one's been popping off.
How's it? Where is it on Shorts? Best Mill.
Yesterday I checked, it was 600.
I was wondering why she waited so long to use that tile.
Well, she didn't have it. We had to borrow it from Gene.
I thought she got the tile at Brick World.
No.
No, Virginia.
No, I had like one of the corners of that album, like because those ones came like in 4 parts.
Well, the bigger one, the bigger version, we got to trade people.
Yeah,
but she had the little tile.
Jean had bought the little one.
Yeah. So I was wondering why she took so long to use it.
We just got it a few days ago.
No, yeah. I was asking like when the Eras tour was like, really hard hitting. That would have been.
Yeah, that's when she wanted to. We just didn't have it yet. And then when we finally saw Jean next, is when we got it. Wow. So we're like, is Taylor Swift ever not gonna be?
Oh no, she's always gonna be popping. I mean, she's popping in NFL right now.
She's my queen.
She's my queen. I love her. I got to see her. Yeah, the Eras tour was amazing.
I heard it was
so good. Yeah, I mean, my wife, who is not a Taylor Swift fan, doesn't understand why she's so big. Enjoyed that concert so much.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Say I used to not like her. I used to make fun of her, and then 180 and be like, it's by far the best performance I've ever seen in my life.
She puts a good show. She knows how to songwrite. She's great.
Yeah. And she puts a lot of effort into it. I like that she to practice for it, she would go on the treadmill for like 3 hours and sing the song.
Well, that's the thing. I remember because I'm a big NSYNC fan versus Backstreet Boys, and my wife's a big Backstreet Boys versus me NSYNC. I just think NSYNC sing better as far as a group. Individually, yeah, you can argue that Backstreet Boys can sing better individually.
Yeah.
But as
I
a
see that.
group in harmony, I think NSYNC does it way better, and they
That you
dance
would
way
say
better.
they were better in sync with each other.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. That's the whole point
It's
of the
in
name, right? It's a name, right? But they dance better.
Yeah,
Like they have better
I think so.
choreography, and they know how to sing while moving. Because that's the thing is there's a art to singing while dancing. You can't really just do both and think you can do it the other. And Taylor does that. We just went.
I don't know how we went from Shrimp to Taylor Swift, but
I'm good with it.
Are they going to get married?
I want them to. If this is the one,
Me too.
you know, this is their relationship is high school. The popular girl who was a nerd is now like the queen of the ball, is marrying the football star.
Yeah, but he's also gone through like his own journeys too, and yeah, I'm really stoked
you want
about
them.
It.
You want them to win.
Yeah,
like I want to see Taylor's next stage in life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
exactly.
I want. Oh, this is so. We can go on for days.
That's
like we're talking about this.
Man, like dude, just Taylor
Swift,
dude, and Travis Kelce. I love him.
Good thing that it's happened to Travis Kelce. Like the world broke.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh my god,
is this happening?"
Yeah.
So now, and then you have the AIs like sing the fake breakup songs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, or that's actually really good.
The AI Taylor on top of High School Musical singing.
Yeah, singing
to Troy.
Oh man, it's so it's so good. It's so good. But I don't want them to fail. If this is a relationship that is forever, I mean, it's still a new relationship.
So Kansas City goes to the Super Bowl this year, right? As we're recording this, we're in the middle of the playoffs. Kansas City is about to play.
I don't think they're going to take it.
I don't either, but like I want them to.
Of course, because then you have Taylor running down, giving
right,
yeah, like
Travis
the whole
Kelce MVP,
right?
Then,
that would have been,
and then boom, he gets on one knee.
Or she just performs in the Super Bowl next year. They lose this year. Gives them like the fight. Like we lost.
We've got to do.
We need to do it.
Oh no! But they picked the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, way in advance. But let's say that she does. Ideally, right?
All right,
like hypothetical, right? We know this is not going to happen.
One day, Taylor Swift is going to play the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised she hasn't already.
No, have you noticed? When they pick people for the Super Bowl,
it's like five. Like they're in the past.
Yeah,
everyone's in the past.
They're made for us old millennials.
But she's technically for us. She's a millennial. She's been around for a long time.
She can transcend.
You look at her demo. When I went to the concert, it's
all walks.
All walks of life. Like it's the millennial, the older millennial, Gen Zs, and Alpha. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she's set.
Like
she's not going.
It's all walks of life. Yeah, there's no Xers.
No. Well, they're there. They're there and enjoying because their kids are there. But what I was saying is hypothetically, just imagine. Even if it's not next year, it's the year after. She plays the Super Bowl. They've been together for a while. He wins. She's already there in her outfit.
I'm getting goosebumps.
And it's either field goal or conversion.
Oh, 2-point conversion.
They go for the 2-point conversion.
Mahomes to Kelce.
Oh, and then boom. Oh. And then before you know it, everyone's cheering. They automatically pan to Taylor and she's not there.
And you're
where'd she go? Taylor? And all of a sudden she runs out
on stage.
And then boom, they just hug and kiss and he just, homie comes out, hands him the ring and he just drops to one knee.
Is this what fan fiction is? I feel like this is fan fiction. We're like all emotional. I'm like, I can't wait.
I'm surprised Emily hasn't like broken the door. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I will want to touch on that. So this is what's interesting about football for me this last year or two.
It's not Taylor Swift?
I think Taylor Swift is very much related to this.
Okay.
So football, I think, has changed. Professional football is totally different now, and because they had to adapt to the new market. Younger people aren't as into they don't want to watch a 4-hour game anymore. But neither do I, it turns out, because I have been experiencing football a little bit through. I have like a fantasy league with my family.
Yeah,
but also
highlights.
I just watch highlights on TikTok the next day, and that gets my fill. I don't feel like I need to, sit there and watch the game as it happens anymore. Like I can just leisurely.
So you just wait till the desserts come out.
Yeah, and so there's that. But then also, I'm really liking the personal stuff a little bit more than I realized.
The drama,
yeah,
and the behind the scenes.
Yeah, dude,
this is gonna turn to WWE.
Yeah, but I love it. Now the whole fixing the refs fixing the games. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's a conspiracy. But then there's times where I'm like, I don't know, man. That was a weird
I mean, if
call.
I'm on the other side of that call, I'll take it all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah,
So,
screw it.
you know, I don't like that, obviously. I don't like them trying to pick teams to, for all intents and purposes, that isn't real. But
No,
I would not, you know, that would be very upsetting if it
if
was
it were.
something that was, you know, like, oh, turns out they try to pick a team, you know, they try to give teams advantages for ratings or something. That would be very frustrating.
Like the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Chiefs, I think is
Like
an
the Chiefs.
example.
That's a perfect
Obviously,
example
if
right
the
there.
Chiefs make it into the Super Bowl, can you imagine? That'll
That's
be
what
the
I'm
most
saying.
watched Super Bowl of all time.
That's what I'm saying. If Taylor performs and the Chiefs are in the
Even
Super
this
Bowl,
year, if the Chiefs
I mean, the
win-
playoffs is enough, but like, yeah, if the Chiefs make it all the way, she's going to be there regardless of the fact,
Mhm.
regardless of performing or not. But just imagine if she did, and how much. I mean, Taylor was performing now instead of Usher.
Mhm.
Like, how big would that Super Bowl be?
That would be nuts.
Exactly, the highest grossing performance
Yeah.
or performer in this past year.
I feel like if they had announced Taylor Swift to be it, like the amount of money it would cost, you know, it's already like absorbent the amount those advertisers pay commercial space
They'll
for.
double easily.
Easily, like minimum.
And the best commercial still for the past 4 years is that QR code.
Oh my god. Right?
That was the most
That was so baller.
genius. Because I like felt for it. I'm like, what is that?
Dude, that was so cool.
I'm like, is that a cure? Is that really?
When I saw that, I looked at it and I was like, damn, whoever did this is a marketing genius. I didn't even click it. I didn't pull my phone up or
clicked it.
anything. I was just like,
I clicked it.
that whoever was behind that just made all the money in the world for their company because
They didn't spend anything.
Yeah, I mean they had a 4-second ad or something, right? It was
4 seconds, nothing else.
Yeah, they just paid for the airtime.
That was it, which is the cheapest
Yeah,
in all of it. Okay, well, I mean, it's just as expensive, but they didn't have to make it.
I think it's interesting when brands get together. They're like, the commercials are so expensive now. So
Yeah, that
we're
they
gonna
kind
put
of-
like a Pepsi and Dorito commercial all in
all
one.
together. Yeah. Has Lego ever done a Super Bowl commercial
I want to say
back then?
I want to say if we're going to be nitpicky, I do think the Lego movie had a commercial spot.
But that wasn't Lego.
Yeah, so
That
again,
wasn't
that's
backed.
being nitpicky.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of a Lego Super Bowl commercial other than one of the Lego movies, maybe. But
But the Lego movie makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess it works in conjunction with Lego,
Mhm.
right? You do the same thing. It
Yeah,
benefits both.
yeah. I mean, the Lego movie itself is an advertisement.
And
for
the Lego movie itself was a success.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
was,
look how much it did for
You
this.
know what's interesting too is animators, you know, like the animating community,
Mhm.
like look at the Lego movie as like a pivotal moment in animation.
Why do you say that?
I guess whatever animation style they were using, the way they animated things, it all
Where they just move. It's like Bluey.
well, Bluey too. That's a
Yeah.
whole different one.
I saw how they did that. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, well, it's like South Park. Now,
South Park, yeah,
like not like how it was before.
the original one.
But it's
right?
like, a digital movement of the face and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
so the other thing that they do, and this got, I think, even more blown up in the new Spider-Man, is different characters would have different frame rates. So you had like the one punk Spider-Man dude. He would like, you know, everything's at, 30 frames per second
yeah,
or something, but
natural
he'll be
eye.
like 4 times the length. So he'll just be off. So all the characters are interacting almost in different universes, right?
Oh, I get it.
So that's what they
Yeah.
did. So that's like this nuanced thing to it. But like in the Lego movie, they used all these different techniques. So like I remember this one scene where Wildstyle is jumping from building to building.
Mhm.
And they're trying to, this all came from stop motion, OG stop motion, what I used to do as a kid.
Mhm.
This all came from that. And they took techniques like that and, put it digitally. But instead of like having her like zoom from one spot to the other and like blurring it out, in that frame, they used Lego pieces to represent like the motion.
Yeah.
So they like, there's parts of her that were no longer a minifigure, but it was just like Lego pieces,
Yeah.
like representing blurs.
Yeah.
And like that kind of like level of detail was, I think, what really changed a lot. So they say that the Lego movie was kind of the predecessor to the Spider-Verse movies in that regard, because the Spider-Verse does a lot of that too now, like with webs and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's
crazy.
interesting. Yeah. So it's
wow.
it was so redeeming when the Lego movie came out, how well it was. I remember like taking a girl to see it in college. It was like my birthday. Afterwards, just like that was an amazing movie.
I don't think anybody can say the Lego Movie was horrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
There's context for every
it had
pop
like a
culture thing.
96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was insane. Rating scores were high, audience scores were high. Like it was just an amazing, objectively amazing, great movie. Kept you entertained, very fast paced. And then it just, it definitely worked on the Lego front too.
Did you like Lego Movie too?
I did.
I enjoyed that better.
I liked it, but I think I like Lego Batman more. And I think it's
okay.
The reason I like Lego Batman so much, as someone who reads the comic or used to read comics and stuff.
Batman's your guy.
He actually never really was. I was never like, but I've always admired him.
Because he has no superpower.
Yeah, and he can
his
roll.
money. His money is a superpower.
It's not just that. His money is just like the scapegoat for why he has,
well, he can fight and he can do all these other things.
Fight.
Yeah.
He has contingency plans. He takes down everything. And so I really liked
He can kick Superman's ass.
Yeah, exactly. He's the only one who can.
The only one, and he has no power.
Exactly. And so the Will Arnett, adaptation of Batman, it's really interesting because they did Batman satirically. And it's like if you knew Batman and you knew all the stories, you knew, the New 52, if you knew the Justice League, if you knew the old detective comic stuff, it was really, I was like, wow, man, they got like the biggest Batman fans in the world to write the Lego Batman movie, because it was a chance to like make fun of Batman in a respectable way. And, talk about like at the end, the whole point of the movie at the end is like he needs to accept his family. He's still not over being an orphan, and he couldn't accept, this whole thing. And it had a really deep message to it. But it was perfect Batman with it out being Batman.
Yeah, no. I never really dissected it like that. I just enjoyed it for what he was. I mean, I love the little quips of homages to like previous Batmans throughout history.
Yeah.
Especially when he was hitting all the movies, the little Lego shots of every single movie.
And where he talks
it
about
was
like,
so good.
The weird,
but the Lego the movie itself, the Batman movie, I feel like it's so underrated.
It is. It's absolutely underrated. I think it's such a great movie. I think too the love affair with him and Joker.
I was gonna say the dynamic between the two characters,
but that's when he starts Batman.
It's like we're not family, we're not friends.
Yeah,
he's like you're
not even my nemesis.
You're my nemesis. He's like,
yeah, he's all sad.
He's all sad. He's about to cry with his sharp teeth.
You're not my nemesis. Like, I don't hate you. Right?
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna watch that movie when I get home.
But that's what it is. It's like I think. At the time, I remember like true Batman, like huge Batman fans really liked it because it was satirical.
It was hitting all everything, all the quips.
And so it was. And then I like somehow the core ended up like making sure your abs were up.
Oh yeah.
Like they had to work out the core.
Do you collect the Lego Batmans?
I collect DC. I just put the bag in my closet. I collect. Not just Batman. I don't collect all the Lego Batman, but I do collect all the superheroes.
I like that.
My Republic dropship. Yeah, just chilling up there.
Huh? Where is
all my superheroes are in my closet here?
Oh, okay. I'm like, where is it?
I need to put them out into display because I had been collecting Lego superheroes since 2012.
I'm surprised I don't have a Batman homage.
Again, I'm not the biggest Batman.
No, it's not that. It's because of that. Like all his costumes, how 15,000.
I was in college when those were coming out. I wish I did have them. I was at Bricks and Minifix the other day, and I always look at Reggae Batman.
Yeah, Reggae Batman's cool.
Batman's awesome.
I like Party Batman.
Party Batman's cool.
Cool
I still want the one where he's in a Speedo and he's got the duck with the
yeah. What were the four that came in the Toys R Us pack, like Night Batman, like pajama PJ Batman.
Yeah, PJ.
The one was a tutu.
Man, what did they do to
Batman?
And
the Gladiator or Night Bat. I don't know. So they're really cool. I just like having that outfit change. I thought in the movie was hilarious.
It's interesting too because I have almost all the Iron Men, and
but no one does the Batmans.
No, there's that one guy who does. He has this giant conveyor belt.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he's doing the thing, the
Batman.
suits, but
Yeah.
like just having a collection of all the There's so many out there. I'm surprised I don't see more of that.
Yeah, there are so many.
There's so many.
I think it's because a lot of them run the same. Maybe I mean it's the same problem with the Iron Man. Like I can't tell Mark 42 from Mark 37.
No. I'm not talking about like Batman, but Batman outfit. I'm talking about different outfits like the movie where there's like Gladiator Batman, Tutu Batman, Duck Batman. You just have all the different types of party Batman next to each other. There's like
a guy on Instagram.
Maybe I've seen that guy once, but I'm saying not seeing him more often.
I think he's the guy that built a bunker for.
Oh, the one that you go underground.
Yeah.
He
had like this whole
wall of Batmans.
It was he built a conveyor belt of Batman.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. I don't know if it was him, though.
But he had all the weird Batman costumes that came out with Batman.
I think I want to do that now.
All right, yeah. We should call it. Anyways, make sure to spay and neuter your pets.
I'm actually doing that soon with my with our dog.
Good.
Well, this is the longest one we've ever done. See, this is the reason why I don't plan stuff with you. I just know you can just talk.
Yeah.
So
I'm a talker.
Right quick, is there anything you want to say to end it? Plug, say, wish, do.
Let's see. Make sure to test your water hardness before you try to go for tropical fish.
How do you do that?
I got strips. You just put some. It's like a strip, and then it changes color, and then you hold it up against a thing. And you just kind of pick the colors.
Oh,
yeah, it's easy.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
No, thanks for having me in your house.
Get out.
In your room, more specifically.
Get out.
Okay, bye.
All right.
I need your car, though. All right, dude. Thanks, man.
Anything you want a heart to heart, sitting on the stoop. We're not concerned with the views of the Lego group, because we're the misfit bricks. This is what we do.